y'all. This is a pre-recorded message because I'm not sure whether I'm gonna make it back home or not. Consider this a confession, I guess. My crime is not picking Yoshi in Mario Kart. The reason I stopped playing as Yoshi in Mario Kart is twofold. First, I started liking other characters more. First, Mario in the full standard combo after he won me the 150cc Special Cup in Mario Kart Wii. And then technically Funky Kong because he got at it and I can use him on the Flame Rider, and most recently, Princess Peach on the Meta combo for reasons I have already discussed in a previous video. But the second reason was because I saw how frequently he was being picked online despite the fact that there were 4 other characters with the exact same meta stats, much less other characters that, while not technically the meta, are still more than worth playing if you enjoy the characters and how they control. I was tired of seeing him over and over again, and so I decided to spice things up and play as different characters to intentionally stand out from the crowd and not feel like I was picking the most basic option there was. But that left me wondering, why was Yoshi the default? Why is he the character that everyone has associated with Mario Kart Online since 2023? And now we're here, counting down the days to my doom and discussing why Yoshi is everywhere in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. First of all, we have the pretty obvious reason that I've already spoiled in the intro: he has the best stats in the game. Mini Turbo is the single most important stat in the entire game, as it controls how quickly you build up your Mini Turbos, how long they last for, and how much of a speed boost they provide. The higher your Mini Turbo stat, the better your Mini Turbos are in every regard. It's also a hidden stat for some reason because apparently we really needed to see how much traction we had instead of Mini Turbo. Thanks, Nintendo. While Yoshi doesn't have the most Mini Turbo out of the entire roster, the Babies, Lemmy, Drybones, and Me But Small all have 5 Mini Turbo as compared to Yoshi's and a small nation's worth of characters 4. He still has the second highest amount while still holding on to a large amount of speed, which is the second most important stat in the entire game and very close to Mini Turbo. The way I've seen this dichotomy handled best is by comparing the sum of Mini Turbo and speed, followed by just Mini Turbo, or Acceleration, the third best stat in the game, and when looking at the entire roster under both of these criteria, then Yoshi, Peach, Daisy, Birdo, and Peachette come out on top, alongside Tanuki Mario, Inkling Boy, and Villager Boy. As for why the first group is generally seen as better than the second group, the first group has 2 points of traction on the second group, which is generally seen as more useful than the 1 point of weight the second group has over the first. So that's why this group of characters is the best in the entire game. But why does Yoshi still have such a firm grasp on the online community? Where are the others? Well, that leads into point number 2, popularity. To prove my point, I turned to this video by fellow YouTuber Shifferless Productions, who, as a side note, inspired me to make this channel and talk about Mario Kart a lot in the first place, so thank you for that, Shafe. The form he put out asked participants to list their top 5 favorite Mario characters, and each appearance in any given top 5 would count as a point towards the character. If for some reason you haven't watched that video yet, go ahead and watch it now and then come back to this one because I will be spoiling it right now. While there were some results that I think would have changed if the community wasn't, as Shifferless himself put it, chronically online. Like, I knew Luigi was popular, but these numbers are absurd. How did we get here? I wasn't too surprised by the fact that out of the 5 meta characters, Yoshi placed the highest with a very respectable 4th place and 1,593 points out of 32,687 total participants. For those that are curious and haven't seen the video or need a refresher, Peach placed 10th with 4,356 votes, though I personally think she should have placed higher and would have if the poll were made more widely available. Daisy placed 6th with 7,964 votes, and I think she would have probably placed lower if the poll were made more widely available. Birdo placed 19th with 1,751 votes, and I don't think she would have done much better if the poll were made more widely available. And Peachette placed 94th with 122 votes. Lamau cringe character did poorly, deserved. But getting back on track, I think what Shifferless says about Yoshi is very insightful and reveals part of the reason why everyone picks him. Quote, "I don't know a single person on the planet who hates Yoshi. Like, it's practically impossible to. He's adorable, he's useful, he's epic." And I think that's what makes Yoshi so appealing to everyone, his contrasting traits. On the one hand, he's a literal dinosaur that can and will eat anything and everything in sight and uses his own unborn offspring and his enemies as ammunition. But on the other hand, he's a cutie patootie that makes silly sounds while fluttering in the air and eating fruits and stuff. There's something to like about Yoshi for every single person, as compared to other Mario characters who are a bit more hit or miss with people, especially the other 4 meta characters, who all share the trait of being more feminine leading and generally not appealing to a solid 50% of the player base. Not their fault, it's just how things work. this video, I spent a good chunk of my summer playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Online and keeping track of my VR at the start of a race, the number of players in said race, and the number of players using Yoshi in said race. Throughout the months of May, June, July, and early August, at times ranging from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time due to my nocturnal work schedule, I kept track of 800 races in total, with my VR jumping from 1,356 at the start of the first race to 10,236 at the start of the 800th race. Across those 800 races, I had an average of 11.2075 players per race, with an average of 2.9400 of those players using Yoshi. That adds up to about 26.2324% of people picking Yoshi online, which is over a quarter of the over 60 million user-strong player base using one character of the 48 available to choose from, to put the numbers in perspective. These are very impressive numbers, no doubt, but compared to the higher levels of play I've seen in videos such as those from Shortcat, it's virtually nothing. It's like watching one of his videos where he plays online means seeing at least half the lobby play Yoshi for every single race. So I came to the theory that as VR goes up, so does the amount of Yoshis. And sure enough, when I isolated the 27 races where my VR was over 10,000 and redid the math, the numbers jumped up so that the number of people playing as Yoshi was now 29.8742%. It's not that crazy of a jump from the previous number, sure, but that's still almost 30% of people playing as Yoshi, and it gave credence to my idea that at higher skill levels the amount of Yoshis went up. And there's a surprisingly good reason behind this, besides the obvious reason that as VR goes up, game knowledge goes up with it, and therefore more people are aware that Yoshi is the best character, because Yoshi actually functions as a sort of camouflage. Because he's such a popular character, in addition to having the best stats, playing as Yoshi allows players to blend into the crowd more, which can actually give them an advantage to make them not get targeted by items as much. And of course, not getting hit by items means that you're more likely to place higher, as proven by simple logic. In addition to this, Yoshi also covers up the least amount of the screen of the 5 characters with the best stats, meaning he provides the most visibility to avoid hazards on the road and see where other people are and what items they have, which I guess is what happens when the competition has long hair and crowns and oversized bows. It's small optimizations like these that give Yoshi a slightly better chance of winning than the others, and people will do anything they can to increase their chances of winning. There we have it. The reasons Yoshi is everywhere in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe are because he has the best stats, he's already a popular character, and he provides a unique advantage by being able to avoid drawing unwanted attention, along with other benefits. But just because we can provide reasons as to why he's used so often, doesn't mean it should stay this way. There are 4 other characters that play essentially the exact same as him, and many more that only have slightly worse stats but are much more unique choices than Yoshi. So I'd like to challenge you all. If you just play Yoshi because you feel obligated to, don't. Play the character you want to play, even if it's unoptimal. You should play the character that makes you happy and... Oh, it's time for my trial, isn't it? Alright, wish me luck, guys. I'll see you on the flip side.